When I first moved into Sarah's house, it all seemed fairly ordinary. Her invitation came at just the right moment, just when I needed it most. After my messy divorce, I wasn't only searching for a place to stay, I was looking for a space to regroup and figure things out. Sarah's house, a cozy little place on the outskirts of town, was nestled among quiet streets and tall trees, giving it a sense of privacy that felt perfect for an escape. But as I settled in, I realized I was uncovering something beyond just solitude. Sarah, about 20 years my senior, had always been somewhat of a mentor to me at work, a woman unafraid to tackle any challenge. Her mother, Lauren, however, was different. Even at 65, Lauren exuded a vibrant energy and confidence that was both magnetic and difficult to ignore. Something about her presence intrigued me, a feeling I couldn't quite place. We'd often share dinner when Sarah worked late, and while Lauren was always friendly, I began to notice her gaze lingering a bit longer than expected. At first, I shrugged it off as my imagination, but over time, the sense of being watched, of some unspoken connection, became undeniable. One restless night, unable to sleep, I went downstairs to get a glass of water, hoping it would calm my mind. But the stillness of the house at night felt different, almost amplified, with only the soft ticking of the kitchen clock breaking the silence. As I stood in the dim kitchen light, lost in thought and staring at my reflection in the window, I heard soft footsteps behind me. My heart skipped a beat. No one else was supposed to be awake. Turning, I saw Lauren, standing in the doorway in her robe, her hair slightly tousled, yet her eyes sharp even at this hour. "Can't sleep either?" she asked softly, stepping closer. There was something in her tone that felt different, something that put me on edge. "Yeah, just needed some water," I replied, trying to sound casual. "What about you?" "I couldn't sleep either," she said, moving closer. The tension between us seemed to thicken. She paused right in front of me, tilting her head as if studying me. Funny how night makes us think about things we never considered during the day. Her words lingered, and I felt caught off guard. She didn't leave. Her gaze stayed fixed on me, intense and unrelenting, making it hard to breathe. The quiet around us grew heavier, almost suffocating, as if something inevitable was about to happen. My grip on the glass tightened as my mind raced in 1,000 directions, struggling to process what was unfolding. "I'd noticed you've been avoiding me," she whispered. In the silence of the night, her words cut through with clarity. "What?" "No, I'm not," I stammered, caught off guard. "I'm just getting used to everything here." "You don't have to hide it," she murmured, stepping even closer. "I can see it. I've noticed the way you look at me." Her words hit me like a wave, and for a moment, I was at a loss for words, my pulse quickening. I tried to look away, but she wasn't about to let me off that easily. Before I could respond, Sarah walked into the kitchen. "What's going on here?" she asked, her tone calm but with a hint of suspicion as she looked between us. Her eyes moved from Lauren to me, and I felt as if I'd been caught in the middle of something, even though nothing had actually happened. Quickly, I stepped back, feeling a pang of guilt. Sarah was perceptive. She could sense something was off. "We couldn't sleep," Lauren replied smoothly, her tone shifting back to normal. "Just getting some water." Sarah studied us a moment longer, her gaze lingering. She gave a small nod and turned her attention to me. "You've had a rough time lately," she said, her voice gentle. "You should get some rest." She moved closer and touched my face tenderly, a gesture that caught me off guard. For a fleeting moment, I saw something in her gaze, a depth of emotion I hadn't noticed before. Then, to my surprise, she leaned in and kissed me. It was brief, almost hesitant, yet laden with meaning. Lauren stood off to the side, watching silently as the scene unfolded. As Sarah stepped away, the tension in the room shifted but didn't disappear entirely. She held my gaze for a moment before heading back upstairs, leaving Lauren and me alone once more. After she left, the tension tightened again, stronger than ever. Lauren's expression was calm, but her eyes conveyed 1,000 unspoken words. I stood there, struggling to make sense of everything that had just happened. The memory of Sarah's kiss lingered, but Lauren's intense gaze brought me back to the present. "You know this wasn't just a coincidence," Lauren finally said, breaking the silence. Her tone was soft yet firm, carrying an air of certainty that left no room for argument. She took a step closer, her gaze fixed on me. "What do you mean?" I asked, barely managing to steady my voice, trying to resist the intensity of her gaze. "You feel it too, don't you?" she whispered, stepping closer until I could feel her warmth. "We both know things have changed between us." Her hand brushed lightly against my arm, sending a shiver through me. The moment felt charged with something I hadn't prepared for. "We should stop this," I whispered, though my resolve wavered. My mind screamed for me to step away, to put an end to this, but my body remained still, rooted in the moment. Lauren gave a knowing smile, her eyes gleaming with understanding. "You've been fighting this too long, Aiden. I can see it in your eyes." She moved closer, her hand gliding up my arm. Our faces were inches apart now, her breath warm against my skin. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "We're the same, you and I. We both feel it." Before I could process her words, she leaned in, her lips softly meeting mine. The kiss, tentative at first, carried the weight of everything left unsaid. I couldn't pull away. Every barrier I tried to maintain crumbled in that instant. When she finally pulled back, her eyes held a certainty that needed no words. This was just the beginning. The next morning felt surreal. The gray light filtered through the windows, casting long shadows. I stood by the window, watching the clouds drift, trying to process what had unfolded. Lauren was nowhere to be found, and I wasn't sure what to expect. When I walked into the kitchen, Sarah looked at me, studying me carefully. "You look pale," she remarked. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, I just didn't sleep well," I muttered, trying to sound casual. The silence between us stretched, thick and heavy. Just then, Lauren entered the room, her steps confident. She glanced at both of us with a small, unreadable smile. "Morning," she greeted lightly, as though nothing had happened. But I caught the flicker in her gaze, hinting at something more. As Sarah busied herself with the tea, the silent tension in the room was palpable. Lauren's gaze stayed on me, making it clear last night wasn't over, it was just beginning. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until the next story. There are many more fascinating stories in this channel. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. See you in the next video. Bye.